Please help me welcome director Dustin Hoffman. Well, I think there are so many wonderful things about this film, but you certainly have an incredible cast with impeccable timing, and they play so well off of each other. Who was the first of the actors to commit?
Well, when it was offered to me, Ronald Harwood wrote The Dresser as a play, and then it was a film with Tom Courtenay and Albert Finney. And both those guys asked Ron Harwood to write something else for him. So he saw that Tosca's Kiss and came up with the idea of the quartet. And so that means that Tom Courtenay was already in it. And Maggie Smith was already with it because Ron Harwood's known Maggie for 50 years. The actors that in terms of the leading parts that I brought into it was Billy Connolly and Pauline Collins. And then I asked that, you know, I wanted it peopled with real retired opera singers and musicians.
It gives it a real sense of authenticity. And did you give them room? Is this very close to the actual final draft, or was there a lot of improvisation?
Well, you know, I think improvisation is used kind of broadly. There were drafts. I mean, I got an early draft, so I worked with the writer, and we would, you know, rewrite and restructure as we continued pre-production. And when the actors were brought in, I would talk to the actors, and I told them, I mean, I just went by my gut feeling. I said, I don't want you to think of these as character parts. I said, I want you to play very close to yourself. I said, we're all in the same game here. You know, we're in our 70s, and I want to know what that feels like to you, and I want you to be able to have the courage to show that, you know, what it feels like to be at that stage of your life, and that's what we should put on the screen. So consequently, they came up with ideas, and Tom Courtenay was making another movie at the time, and he would call me, you know, for 2 months, and he says, geez, I just thought of something, and for this and for that. And he thought up lines, so there were lines of theirs that were put in. I did research. I love Google. It's amazing. And I looked up Maggie Smith amongst the others, and I came across this article that she had been interviewed for from the London Times a few years ago, and she was extraordinarily candid, and she had been ill, and she was very open about her illness, and she had had radiation and chemotherapy, and she had said in the interview she'd never wanted to act again. She didn't have the energy. She was just very depressed and down, and there were certain lines that she said in that interview that just jumped at me, because the interviewer, for instance, said, you know, you have your future ahead of you. She says, no, most of it's been. And certain lines like that, I asked her, could we use that in the film? And again, I reiterated, Maggie, this is not a character, this is you. We know she's a diva, you don't have to play that. And she said yes, and the interesting thing about it is that she exemplifies, I think, the spine of the film, because a couple of years after that interview, she started working, and she's never stopped.
As an actor, it seems that there are potentially so many great advantages to going from being an actor to a director in terms of understanding character and working with character in a way from the inside out. Then what would you say are the challenges, perhaps the unexpected challenges that you faced going from being an actor to a director?
It's amazing how naive I've been over 45 plus years, because actors, we come to work in the morning and we're just totally absorbed in our own thing, our scene, character, ideas we have, and we enter a set and we're kind of, you know, we're like kids in the sense that, you know, like, you know, we raised 4 kids and in a house at one time, well, 5, and I would come home after work, and I was always amazed at how brutally insensitive the kids would be. I'd say, I'm really tired. And they say, Daddy, can I do it? And that's kind of the way I was on the set. You know, I have an idea, I want to do this, and with no clue as to what horrors the director had gone through in the last 24 hours since I last saw him. He lost this actor, he lost this location, they had the wrong props, the weather was wrong. I mean, the myriad amount of misfortunes that happen on a day-to-day basis, that was news, and it's humbled me to every director I hated.